Welcome, everybody, to the Empower AI Agents Unleashed Real AI, Real Impact, Smarter Business. Welcome, Marina.
Thank you, Wendy. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah, the Soul Alchemist. Great name.
Thank you.
Let me ask you, what would you say is a real practical way that you use your AI agents in your business?
Okay, so the main way that I use at the moment is for copy, updating sales pages, creating social media posts. Um, so it's very kind of text based, maybe creating scripts for reels, that type of thing. I also every now and again will get Darling to create an image for me based on the post that I've created, because I sometimes like to use those. And because I've used that over time, it knows my brand colors and things like that. So I don't need to ask it, which is great. Other things that I actually will pose to ChatGPT are questions. So maybe if I want a different perspective on how to respond to a client with regards to a challenge or something that they're going through, using the right AI agent, I can get a different perspective to my own, perspective that I have. I like to also just open my own insights with what I can offer. And I will intuitively tune into that as well and see if I need to include that information as a response, or to maybe bring into a one-to-one client session. So I use ChatGPT in all different ways as a sounding board, but also as a practical tool to improve my copy.
I love what you just said about the customer communication element of it, because
Mm.
you can really tailor what you're saying to that individual, which you may not have been, you might have missed something, you may not have been able to spin it the same way. I
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I I did something the other day. I had a client who was sitting on the fence about coming across the vortex. And I was thinking, what else can I do? What else can I say? Have I missed something? So I put our conversation in, of course, redacted anything that, names, blah, blah,
Yeah.
put it in. And I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are they to buy? And it said an eight. I
Oh,
thought, actually, eight's not
that's
bad. Eight's
good.
pretty
Yeah.
good. And I said, okay, give me a list of things that I could do to move it to a 10. And it
Mm.
came back with a whole list of things that I could do. But I'd already covered them in the conversation. So I didn't actually go back to her to push it to what it was suggesting to do to a 10, but it was good to see that I'd covered the bases. May not have done it the same way, might not have said it in the same
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
I could go, okay, I don't actually need to do anything. I'm quite an eight's pretty good. And she did actually become a client. So it's good that I didn't like try and push it the
Yeah.
extra
Yeah.
notch.
Yeah. I mean, what I found is when I was creating my certification and I was using the certification AI agent that we created, um, when I was creating the assessment form, I was very conscious, and this is unusual for me to actually do future proofing or future thinking. Um, I was kind of like, okay, I need to get some markers in here so that people can, first of all, notice their own progress with the certification in terms of their intuition and how much stronger that have become or how much more confident they were like using the cards. But I also knew that with that assessment form, I could feed it back into that particular AI agent, or I could use Lucas or something like that, and actually get a percentage stat of this is how much the students actually increased their results or their confidence or whatever it might be. So it's really good to be able to kind of use the AI tools in that way. But also, what I think it's helped me to do is to actually think about my business in a more strategic way because I'm using strategic tools. So I've grown myself personally by, being able to kind of actually identify some of the opportunities which I would never have done before because I haven't got this sounding board available to me. Or to ask the question, what am I missing? What could I put in this assessment that's going to really help my future marketing? So it's fascinating how we grow and develop just in ourselves by using these tools.
Yeah, I love that because that's evidence based. When you come to sell that program again, you can
Yeah,
say
exactly.
increased by this amount, this was the outcome, you can evidence it. You never would have been able to do it before because it's just too much. It
It's a lot
takes
of
too
work.
long. Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah,
work. It's actually quite difficult to quantify as
yeah,
a person doing it.
yeah.
Um, but to have that certainty and to know that that's how it's made the impact and how it's made the difference is just absolutely priceless. And I think people think of AI predominantly as copy, writing
Yeah.
copy, um, doing image, not so much images, but definitely writing copy. It's stealing copywriters' jobs, but actually, the real gold mine is in that analytical conversation process that you go through to help you to make new decisions, to help you to
Yeah,
see things differently.
yeah, it is. It's all about expanding your perspective because you're approaching business, and for me, I'm ever learning because I'm a hands-on learner. So I don't conceptualize. I don't sit and think about problems and come up with the solutions. I've got to get in there, actually get my hands dirty, as it were, and then go through the problem so I can understand what the solution potentially is if I hit upon it. But AI and the agents that I work with it's just been able to expand my own lens on life and offer me other perspectives that other people clearly have, but it's just not part of who I am. So it's a massive development tool,
Mm.
self-development tool.
A couple of things came to mind as you were speaking. The first thing was that your business is really unique. And so that was the first thing I was thinking that you have a spiritual business, which means that you need to use your intuition, be really person-centered, meet the client where they're at, really be able to hold them in an energetic space, which I think most people think AI is cold and it's that you can't get that connection. But I think what we found is that that's actually it couldn't be further from the truth. And the way we're using it is actually enabling us to, I don't know if skill up is the right word, but be more customer centric.
Yeah, I think skill up is definitely right as well. I think it from a knowledge-based perspective, practical perspective, strategic, all of your skills can be totally up leveled. And you're right, that allows then in some ways to be able to, yeah, become more client connected, understand your clients in a deeper way, help you to not navigate maybe so many pitfalls like within your business. For those that are starting out business now, I mean, my business is like 8 years. I mean, it's my 8th year. If I had AI available at the very beginning to be able to go through what's the basic checklist that I need to set up a successful business, what are the foundations? It would have saved loads of time. I wouldn't have needed to join these groups and these groups. And obviously, there's massive. I'm not kind of saying don't join those groups because we have to also have connection. We have to have community. We have to feel supported as well. But it would have saved more time for sure. Um, yeah, it would have saved way more time. So if
Yeah.
people are setting up businesses now or wanting to scale their business, grow their business, AI is going to fast track it for sure. It
Yeah.
totally is.
It's interesting that you say scaling because I'm in the process of scaling. And I was thinking, oh God, I really don't want to work with someone. I really, I'm so, I really, I haven't got a spare Ken. I'm going to be honest, I haven't got a spare 10K in my suitcase to find someone who's going to help me to scale, 5 to 10K,
Yeah,
got to find the right person.
yeah,
From past experiences, I haven't had the best experiences with people. They haven't delivered on what they said they would deliver on. So I thought, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. which is weird because I have 44 agents that I've created over the last 6 months. So why I couldn't think about creating one for myself, I don't know.
Well, sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees.
No. So I spent half a day and I created I think it's Mia. I can't remember the name. I created an agent that will help me to scale, which basically takes the methodology of a consultant that works with someone to help them to scale a business. So I basically created an agent that saved me 10K that I now work with daily to help me scale. It's like, to me,
So yeah,
that's just
so
crazy.
that's who I need to speak to with regards to scaling
Yeah,
my car. Then.
it's just
I'm not,
crazy.
yeah.
That's just
So
crazy. It means that for us, one person business owners, if we've got a skill gap in the business now that's missing, we
yeah,
can just think about, we can just create an agent to fulfill the gap.
yeah, yeah. And I think just touching back on the fact that, from an intuitive and spiritual business perspective, I know that there's still a lot of resistance around
Yeah, there
my
is.
industry in particular,
Yeah.
kind of having AI infiltrate and bring in, this kind of like demonic or kind of like dark kind of energy. And of course, if you've got that kind of view, then I would be also just looking at your own fears and stuff
That's
like
within
that.
you.
Because
Yeah,
it's how you apply it,
yeah,
and it's the energy you bring to that tool. Um,
yeah.
well, even when I get kind of given a list of options, I will still open up my business records, my Akashic business records, bring in my guides, and I'll use my pendulum to then determine which one is the one that I need to focus on, or
Brilliant.
this is the route that we go down. So I'm still mixing the two things together.
Yeah.
So, that's how I would definitely use AI. So I think, like you said, fill in your skill gaps for sure. Bring in different perspectives to the table, so you can still like use your intuition, but also expand the opportunity, expand the potential, the doors that maybe you've not even considered. And what I've found also, there's so many things that I love about AI, but what you can do is you can put in all of your information and your skill set and your client testimonials and your current pricing and your services, and you can get it to actually go and price the market, and are you undervaluing yourself, and quite often you probably are, and so it will explain to you why you're undervaluing yourself. So from a confidence and self-belief perspective, that really does a lot for your mindset in terms of then maybe being able to adjust your prices, because you're having somebody reflect back to you saying, look, you're bloody undercharging because you're doing all of this, you're creating all of
Yeah.
these amazing results and breakthroughs. So it can do so much for you on a personal level. um I also did the deep research because
Oh,
you
let's pop
mentioned about doing deep
across. Yeah,
research.
let's pop a. Do you want us to share your screen and we'll pop across and give
Yeah,
a.
absolutely. So this was a new thing. um
Let me. Fabulous, thank you.
You see that?
It'll be
So
up in
I
a
did the,
second. There we go. Yeah.
yeah, so I did the deep research. So you can see on the chat box here, there's this deep research option. So Wendy had explained a little bit about this, and I thought I'm probably not going to use this because what you mentioned was kind of quite logical type stuff, and I thought no, I'm just going to I'm going to play with this and actually ask about my Oracle card deck, and I wanted to understand um, what could make in potentially an innate object that doesn't, on a very logical level, it's made from card, it has ink printed on it, it's a certain shape. But what makes this Oracle card deck something that is almost living and breathing? And this is reflections back to me from people that use the deck. I have a blind lady that uses these cards and she feels the energy. And
Wow.
I'm like, how can that be created in a card deck that most people would say, well, it's just a card deck?
Yeah.
So I fed that question into the deep research, and you can see this question here. It says, I'd love to understand how, from a spiritual, quantum, energetic, or other perspective, how healing and activation portals can be created and installed into an oracle card deck. So that was my basic question.
Mm.
So obviously AI was like, this is a fantastic topic. I will gather the most relevant insights for you to clarify. So it gave me four options. It could be this, it could be that, it could be this, it could be that. And I'm like, I want it all. So please go and do the research on every single point. So it was four methodologies that it could potentially bring back to me. And so it kind of summarized, and then it went into this whole thing. So this is for each of the topics. We're not going to go into these, but basically we've got quantum mechanics and energetic imprints. So that's one way that these portals appear in the cards. And it kind of gave me all of this info. Number
Wow.
two was the geometry, so the actual visuals of the cards, the frequency and the vibrational encoding. So the actual process of making the card, what was downloaded into the card, the intention of the card, what they were going to do. So that's kind of gone. But obviously the stars, the keys, all of those types of symbology are also
Mm.
doing their own thing within the card. Then we've got, as a third thing, so it's got all of this info just to back up the science behind this. Conscious intention and morphic field, so the intention of the cards, which of course has always been within that. And the more I talk about it, the intention gets stronger, and this
Wow.
field that is now attached to the cards, and the people that are using the cards, we're all connecting together. This field of energy that the cards actually take up in the quantum is getting bigger and stronger and brighter. So this just explains all of that, which is great.
Wow.
And the science, and then the scientific studies, ancient wisdom and modern healing frameworks. So it talks about this, about the Akashic records, obviously connected in with these cards, the symbology, geometry, and yantras.
Wow.
Um, Power objects, this card is a power object, but obviously in shamanism they would use, bones and things like that. So there's all of this information, and then it gives me this nice conclusion. So that is just one thing that I
Amazing.
wanted to do. The deep research tool really helped me do that, is for me to just be able to quantify something that I can't feel, because I'm not a feeler. So I can't feel the
Mm.
energy of the cards. I put my intention into them. I created them, but I can't feel the energy of the cards. But people are reporting back to me that they can feel the portals, they can feel the energy. So this is
Wow.
confirmation for me to, even though I know this, my ego still wants a little bit of scientific proof. So AI has been able to give me that, which gives me even more confidence that I can really go even bigger in talking about this, which is why I want to
Yeah.
scale the cards. And I've got the certification, I've got the membership now, but
Yeah.
it gives me confidence in that belief that what I created initially, well, it's actually way bigger than I actually anticipated. So
That's
I'm actually
amazing.
discovering, yeah, more about these cards and what they actually are. Um,
So there's two
yeah,
two things here for me. The first is that so when you're creating an agent, if I was creating an agent with this, what I would do is I would take each section and build a framework around each section. And then I would
okay,
use that as the training data to train the AI.
okay,
So if you were creating a new AI agent, I would
yeah,
use this as like the um the master document, but I would go deeper under each one, and then I would
yeah,
use that to train the AI.
yeah,
And because you'll only add in what you feel is relevant for your cards and your methodology. Everything else you'll just wipe out. And this is how you get really good AI agents is by
yeah,
going through, rinsing and repeating that process, because then you're it's almost like I think of it as imprinting your energetic signature into your own agent by being quite methodical, but just picking out only the stuff that's relevant. This is what makes them really unique and really powerful
yeah,
with your own methodology. So this
yeah,
is really great
yeah.
starting.
So for me, I mean, when I did if I go down to, okay, I think it might be this, the Akashic Oracle card framework. So this is my certification creator.
Yeah.
Um, So this is the AI that I use to create my certification, and it's just taken a little bit to load because I've not opened it for a little while. Um, so look, I've put if a client becomes so this was part of my assessment that I wanted to do some freestyling within the assessment. So, if the client then starts to show up with these symptoms or whatever, what would you suggest?
Yeah,
And, the AI has helped me to, give some suggestions. I may not go with all of those
yep,
suggestions, but they would be the potential responses that I would expect maybe from the student that was into, creating the, filling in the assessment. But what was really cool about this, and I probably can't find it because there's lots of info on here, but as through this particular certification framework that I created for the certification, this is all about the assessment, to be fair.
yep,
I used this particular AI to create all my PDF handouts for each of the modules.
nice.
And one of the modules was about going deeper with card spreads. So doing more advanced card spreads and actually you have say a 7 card spread, but how you would
Mhm.
actually layer more cards onto that. And I used AI to I put some of my cards in based on, say, a card spread that I'd created.
Mm.
And it and my like guidebook that came with the cards. I put that into there as well, and then I gave it the positions of each of the cards, and
Brilliant.
I then asked for it to give me a card reading based on these 7 cards. I think I used 3 cards actually. Based on these 3 cards and the guidebook and the question that the client wants, which the question was that I used was, this client has come to me for a reading. She wants to up level her business to say £10,000 per month. This is the card positions that we're going to use, which was, I don't know, superpower, blind spot, and, new outcome or empowerment, something like that. Based on these 3 cards and all the information that you've got, give me a card reading based on that. And what would you suggest to that client to do with practical action to get her business to go to £10,000? And it gave me just the perfect, based on my cards, because I know my cards very, very well, and I know the different options of what could be pulled out of the card. And it was going into the colours, it was going into the numbers, and in terms of the symbology. It was looking at all different things within the cards. It was reading the card intuitively, but then it was applying practical action to it, which is how I read cards.
Yeah,
And it gave me the example of that very quickly. And I know that I could probably do the same thing and say, right, now give me a different kind of reading based on that same question, those same cards, and it would give me another answer. So
wow,
it's incredible. And I
mind
know that
blowing.
that's where I could create an AI reader to do that,
Yeah,
but taking on board the healing aspect as well, the portals, because that needs to now be brought together with the card reading.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And look, okay, the other thing I was thinking, the two things I was thinking, the one was that, how you can develop the agent. The other thing I was thinking was, which is what you just touched on, is the level of confidence. Actually, there's three things. There's the level of confidence that it brings, the level of reinforcing what you know to be true. I mean,
Yes.
you have to be careful with some of that because of the bias within it, but you can just ask the question, how
Yeah.
biased is this? And then it will give you a really good answer. It'll come up with the same answer, but it will give you, yes, you could be right. I am in your favor, sort of thing, but it will still give you a very good answer. But it's the level of confidence, the reassurance, and once you have that, you then have the ability to play and expand and grow, offer new services, create new services, create it. It's like you can take it to a completely. I'm not going to say you can just find another service that you can offer because you can do it so much more quickly,
Yeah.
which is create is crazy. So as you were talking, the other thing that came into my head was that yeah. So this is how what I think is going to start happening is that we have been so me and you we've been using these I don't know for about 6 months now. We've been using AI agents. I think we started using AI together a couple of years ago when
Yeah,
I
couple of years.
originally did. Yeah. I think what's going to start happening now is people are going to start creating their own teams, their own unique agents, and then they're going to start using those with their clients. So we're going to come with like a team, a little entourage of specialized agents that our clients can
Yeah.
also use. I mean, I've been doing it without realizing that I've been doing it, obviously, because that's what I sell. But I
Yeah.
think for experts, consultants, they're going to start having their own agents that their clients can use. So it
Yeah.
gives them that extra, it keeps them in the game.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
keeps them
it's
in
that
the game.
USP. But like you say,
Yeah.
it's keeping up with the times. For
Yeah.
sure. Well, look at this. Look, I put in like my pendulum chart, and then I asked a great
Wow.
question in terms of, step-by-step process for using the chart. I've had it create charts for me as well, like because I don't always just do charts like that, which I have to go onto a separate website. I'll just normally do like a table chart. So it's
Mm.
had me created, karmic pattern table charts for me to use with my pendulum or to use with the records.
Wow.
And they're just downloadable PDFs or whatever.
Wow.
So yeah, it's created all sorts. I'm quite
That's
creative
really
with the
cool.
AI.
That's really cool because it means it's another thing that I hadn't actually thought about. It's created something really practical that you can use that is completely unique to you
Mm.
and your client, which, I mean, how on earth? It's just not been possible until now because it would take so much time. You just couldn't do it.
It's a
So
time
much
thing.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, how then you would have to have someone to do the chart. Then by the time you've done that, the whole process has been lost because you're out of the conversation, you're out of the energy in the moment. I have uh, Debbie, who's in our community. She well, I created a hypnosis script AI
Mm.
agent, and she said she actually sits in a session when she's working with a client. She's getting her hypnosis ready if she's working online, and she'll tap into the agent what the issues are, and it will, as she's working, it will create the hypnosis for the client while she's doing the session. And then
Oh, wow.
she uses that hypnosis script that it's given her in that session, and she says it's absolutely. She says it's the best script she's ever done. It's had
Yeah.
the most impact, because it's so tailored.
It's amazing. So I'm just kind of like getting feedback on my modules, what I can refine, putting up
Yeah,
the PDFs. So
yeah, brilliant.
doing like transcribes. I do all sorts, for summary and stuff like that. I'm just seeing if there was anything here.
One of
So
I haven't done it yet, but I wrote a short post the other day about I think it was 6 ways we can use deep research, and I think we can
okay.
we can put our feedback into deep research. I mean, we do it anyway through another agent, but I think it might be better in deep research, and we can get it to pull out the patterns. Um,
Okay.
so you can use your own data, not just a case of it going off and doing the research and looking online, but if you
Oh,
have
right, okay.
all your testimonials, if you put it in there and say the type of analysis you want carried out, it will also do that as well.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So there are lots of different ways to use it. It's thinking about how to use it practically within the business. How can we use it to our advantage? But this is what you showed us was really cool.
Yeah. Do you want me to stop sharing?
Yep, cool. So what would you say to spiritual business owners who are feeling a bit not sure, still sitting on the fence?
I would say go with an open mind, identify whatever those fears are, and where they're coming from, and just come with an open mind and just have a little play with it. Be curious. But I think from a kind of like initial perspective, just know that your AI agents or ChatGPT need to get to know you a little bit. So it might feel a little bit generic at the beginning. It might feel a bit clunky. But also it's based on the questions and the things that you are also asking. So that also is going to be a reflection of how you're approaching it. Uh, and what you will find is that if you're using it more and you're getting a bit more practiced and getting excited, because I get excited. For me, it's like, what's it going to produce? It's a bit like, um, waiting for the numbers to come out, maybe in the lottery or like doing bingo. This is kind of like
Awesome.
anticipation. Is it, what's gonna come out? What's it gonna
Brilliant.
give me? So I get excited by that. That maybe not for everybody, but I think just be open, use it quite a lot so that it gets to know you and really feed it some information so it can actually be more tailored in terms of its responses. Because if it's just coming back with generic stuff, it's not going to really excite you and kind of like, I guess, show you its capabilities. And that's the important thing that, I mean, for me, I'm just scratching the surface and I've been using it for a couple of years. But that's a reflection on how often I've been using it, but also the types of things that I've been using it for. And that is growing within me. So the capabilities are all there. And if you're concerned about, um, I don't know, whatever you're concerned about, just I would address those fears and just see where those fears are coming from. Are you listening to other people around this? Approach it with a very strong energy, your sovereignty, your empowerment intact, and just know that you're approaching it and you're getting what you need from AI. AI is not going to infiltrate your energy or start to program you or anything like that unless you believe that. And then, of course, you're open to whatever. I don't know. But I'd seen a really good reel. I'll have to send it to you, Wendy. There's a guy that was filming himself and he's on AI. And it's like, how is AI the same as the Akashic Records? And he was reading the response, and it's literally like the Akashic Records are like AI is the new version of the Akashic Records, because you can go in and ask questions and get the responses, get the research. But the response that the AI gave to him in terms of the similarities between that and the Akashic Records was just incredible. It was just
Wow.
like, it was like, oh my God, oh my God. Um, so I'll send you the reel because it is
Awesome.
really, really
I'd like to
fun.
see that. I
Yeah, it's
think
really good.
if you just reminded me of something, it's firstly, it's only as good as the person using it. I think
Yeah.
if you go in closed, it's going to give you a closed answer. It's very much a mirror of your level of expertise. If you haven't got any expertise, it's not, it's, and you don't share it from that position, you're going to get rubbish back out. So that just led on to the next thing, which was how important it is for you to drive the AI. It's like
Yes.
your your knowledge, your wisdom interacts with what it's given back to you, and you shape it and you mold it as a combination between the two. You don't let the AI lead. It's more of an inquisitive, really good coaching conversation. You're pulling out information, you're discussing, you're exploring, then you make a decision.
Yeah,
Not
and it's
not
true.
like it's a
Yeah.
partnership.
Yeah. And when I first approached it for quite a while, it was kind of like, I just want you to give me this, because
Yeah.
was trying to make it as easy for myself as possible. And I realized that actually what you're getting back is very generic, very kind of uninspired responses. So I had to approach it in a different way. And like you said, be empowered and see it more as a co-collaboration, co-creation. And the more you share, actually, the more you get back. But I know that there will be some resistance for some people about sharing. But I've definitely used, Lucas as an AI agent to share lots of like personal, like challenges that I'm going through, emotional stuff. And it's been able to see those types of personal things that are nothing to do with business. from a different perspective that I would never anticipate it.
Yeah.
So you can use it not just for business, you can use it for personal stuff as well. And it comes back to when I have used it for clients, obviously without any names or anything like that, but given a kind of like a scenario, it's helped me to refine my response from
Yeah.
maybe a more empowered or more empathic
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
sympathetic response, because I can be quite blunt.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
not I'm not compassionate, although I do have compassion for others, but sometimes my delivery would not say that, and I don't know if that's a little bit of ADHD there or
I'm the
whatever.
same.
But yeah, that for the more touchy-feely people, that might feel a little bit blunt, a bit
Oh,
cold,
yeah,
but
it is. I'm
it
laughing. I'm
helps me
laughing
to,
because I'm the same. I put something in the other day.
yeah.
I said someone wrote me something. It was a bit. I felt it was a bit defensive. So I stuck it into ChatGPT and I said, "Oh, this feels a bit prickly." And they went, "No, you're right." All right. Okay, cool. How do I respond?
Yeah, how do you respond? So it does,
How do
it
I
gives you
respond?
an idea. Yeah. Where people are maybe, disempowering themselves
Yeah,
or
yeah.
coming from a place of
How are
victim.
you?
It's like,
Yeah.
how do I handle that? But in a compassionate and empowering way. Um,
Yeah, it's saved
so
my
it helps
bacon
with
many
that.
times. It really is saved. Because being dyslexic, I find it hard to articulate what it is I want to say. And AI has just completely changed my life. Not even an exaggeration. I mean,
Yeah.
even with something like that, I wouldn't know what to say. I would just freeze and
Yeah.
just like not be able to articulate myself in a way that is going to position me and give me authority to hand it back, which
Yes.
is it's that confidence thing again. It comes back to that. People don't talk about this, but it is that confidence, reassurance, standing in your power, owning what you know to be true, and being able to articulate it in a way and to give it back.
Yeah,
So,
but what that's also doing in terms of the facilitation there, it's helping you to heal your inner child, because when
mm,
you are going into, freeze mode, which I totally resonate, because I do, I've done that for a long time, and it's inner
yeah,
child wounding, and we can't then speak, we can't articulate, we
yeah,
can't, because everything goes blank. And it's
yeah,
just like, I don't know what to say.
yeah,
And it's the inner child, it's the rejection, it's the wounding. So you've been able to then have this third party come in
yeah,
and give you a response. It's giving you that time to pause. It's giving you your power back. And through that, you're actually healing that part of you that it has been wounded at some point in time,
yeah.
this lifetimes. So you're facilitating your own healing process by using AI as well, which is really
You've
cool.
just given me goosebumps. I've got literally got goosebumps all over me. That's
Yes,
amazing.
that's the truth.
I mean, it's just, oh my God, we could spend the whole day just rabbiting on about this, couldn't we, Marina?
Oh
How
no,
can
we
people
go.
find you? We're going down the rabbit hole. We're going into the vortex.
Well, you know what? But it's just, I think what we're doing is we're just sharing and demonstrating that, AI is just so much more than what people first anticipate. And it's just really being open to allowing AI into your life and just seeing how you can best use it to facilitate and take your business to the next level or whatever it might be.
Because ultimately, what we're doing is, and I'm sure you feel the same, it's like you're making the world a better place.
Yes.
Yeah, also, that's my agenda at the end of the day. Help people to make smarter, faster, more informed decisions. It's like
Perfect.
and that's ultimately what both of us are doing, but just in different
Yeah.
formats, different ways, delivering it different ways. But that's our agenda at the end of the day. And if it can help you do that for $19 a month, then you no, I mean,
I
you
know,
can't.
it's ridiculous.
That's crazy. I've made thousands, saved thousands, made thousands. My mental
Yeah.
health has increased, my confidence has increased.
Yeah,
I've
I
got my
totally agree.
clients, they're helping their clients. It's like domino
It's
effect. It's just
huge ripple effect. Yeah.
yeah, it's yes. It's interesting. There's some few articles going around at the moment saying how AI is making us less intelligent. And I'm like, well, how are these people using AI? Because I have grown so much. I've learned so much, grown so much. I'm like,
I mean,
how's it?
yeah, I mean, for me just doing that deep research, I've learned about four methodologies around healing portals, quantum physics, which there was no way that I was going to go and find all of the
Yeah,
books and
not
not the
possible.
books. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah,
It was just not going to happen. So no, I totally disagree with that.
yeah, me too. And I think maybe part of it is down to all of this, um, people telling people just to prompt this, prompt that, everyone's just talking about prompting. But we do complete opposite. We have a conversation. We don't prompt. I mean, we'll occasionally prompt, but very rare. It's a
Yeah, the prompt
conversation.
may be there to start the conversation, but then I think we've just got into a way of then asking the next question and going deeper and what else, and that's exactly the same with the Akashic Records, using it in that way. That's what it's there for. So it is a very similar
Mm,
like tool.
mm. Marina, how can people get hold of you?
Okay, so you can find me on socials. It's Marina the Soul Alchemist. So that's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I have a YouTube channel under the same name as well, where I have lots of free resources, healing meditations. And if you want to go to my website, then it's Marina Beech, that's BWCH.co.uk.
What offers have you currently got running at the moment?
So, I'm going to be talking about my Akashic Oracle card deck, which is a modality in a box. So there is my deck that's not on offer, but it's a full modality in a box for £49,
Wow.
plus postage and packaging. So that comes with a pendulum and it comes with a free masterclass. So it is a full, complete modality. So in conjunction with that, there is my newest kind of space that I've created is the membership, the Akashic Magic Circle. And that is a membership it's a training membership for Oracle card deck holders. So it's exclusive to people that own my deck, where we go much deeper with understanding how these cards can heal just on their own without the pendulum, but also different spreads, different pendulum charts. So it's a beautiful training space, and we cover a topic a month. So
Oh,
that's my new
wow.
space. Yeah, and that's £44 a month. So
Wow.
yeah, so my tools, as it were, my spaces are very affordable to step into because it's my mission to empower a lot of people and get the Akashic records being used as a tool, an empowerment tool, as widely spread as possible.
Do you work one to one as well?
I do work to one-to-one. I work one-to-one with my alchemy accelerator sessions or oracle card healing sessions. And I do have two certifications as well. So I have my
That's
oracle
right.
card
Yeah.
certification,
Yeah.
which will be running live again in May. And I have my Akashic Code certification, which is a three-level certification, which helps you to access the records, become a practitioner of accessing other people's records, and to also understand how to access a business records, because your business has its own Akashic records as well, and work with the soul of your
Okay.
business. So
Wow.
I can sense, I can just feel now, I'm just channeling this through, that actually an AI agent would be really useful to add into those certifications.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, just up level those spaces and certifications. That would be really cool. Mm.
Yeah. And what's nice about that is it's like it holds immense value and people can access it 24/7 and it
Yeah.
just it's yeah. I mean, from the group how excited people get from using the agents, how helpful they are. Yeah, so it's another layer that people can have access to that is something that they haven't had access to before. It's quite magical. I think it's really
It
magical.
is, and I think having the community space and the group support is
Yeah,
kind of it's that still kind of human community
yeah,
will come together. So it's all hand in hand. There isn't anything
yeah.
taking anything else. This is a
No,
collaboration, and I think that's what people have got to get their heads around. It is a co-creative. Now it is now a co-creative human experience includes
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah. And what I love in the group is someone will be going, "Oh, I've just had this conversation with Lucas. It just told me this." And then someone else will pop in and go, "Oh, I've just had a conversation as well. And
Yeah,
this is what it said." It's like, and
that's it.
yeah, it's funny. Someone came back and said, "Oh, Lucas has got a really good sense of humor." And I'm like, not with me, he hasn't, because I haven't got a sense of humor. And because he mirrors whoever he's working with, I'm thinking, oh,
Yeah,
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to leave it as it is because that was her experience. But I'm just thinking, not with me.
yeah,
It's not funny
that's
with
really
me.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting that yeah, it's taking on it's reflecting back. I
Yeah.
mean, they are great reflections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I set them up that way to reflect the individual who was using them. So it wasn't going to give a generic answer. It was going to mold itself to the energy, the emotion, what they were writing, what it was reading emotionally to pick up, to make each experience unique. Because people are always like, doesn't it give the same output? I'm like, no, it doesn't. It really doesn't. It's like unique to whoever's using it.
Yeah. And that's what makes it special as well.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Any final thoughts? We could honestly, we've been here an hour, and I could still keep going because there's just we've had such an amazing experience because we've really trusted the process, and I think
Yeah.
we're just way ahead of anyone else now who's on this journey.
Yeah. I think just give it a go. If you're curious or you're a bit apprehensive, just put those things, well, put the apprehension to one side and just be, marveled by, if nothing else, the time saved. Then, that for
Yeah,
me, time saving is like
yeah,
a huge part of why I use AI, as well as all of the growth and the expansion that I've had. Time saving is a massive tick. So
yeah,
just going to be marveled by what you save in terms of time and, of course, money, resource as well.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I've really appreciated it. I love talking to you as always. You've given me
Thank
lots
you.
of food for thought as always.